Don't let someone who couldn't love you well decide the future that you get to have. When someone breaks your heart, or even if just a relationship breaks your heart, a relationship ends, your nervous system does what it is designed to do, to protect you. And so you build walls and you close off. It's all very understandable. But here's the thing. If you stay closed, if you deny yourself moving on, if you deny yourself the opportunity to love again and to be loved again, then you are giving all your power away to someone who's not even in your life anymore. You're giving the person who's no longer in your life authorship of your story. And that in order to heal and in order to move on, you decide your future. You have to take back authorship of your story. You decide what happens next, not someone from your past. And I know that this is easier said than done, but is still probably one of the most important messages that I could ever give on the topic of breakups and heartbreak. Of course, in the beginning, when you're really hurt, regardless of who's to blame or what happened, or if they broke your heart or the relationship just fell apart and became a mess, you are going to want to crawl into your shell and not let anyone get close to you again. And like I said, it is totally understandable. And in the beginning, maybe that's what we kind of have to do. But what I see over and over and over again is that people are so shut down. They are so closed off, and they're wondering why they can't meet that right person. And they're not recognizing that part of what is actually standing in the way is that they are so armored and closed off. And I want you to be a protector of your heart. I want you to be a warrior of your boundaries. I don't want you to just give your heart away to someone just because you have some chemistry. I don't want you to give your heart to someone just because you're lonely. I never want you to settle. And we have to be able to risk opening up again. Because if we don't, then we are letting our past define our present. We're letting our past define our future. And that, guaranteed, causes more suffering than the suffering from a breakup, because it causes long-term suffering. We can't move forward. We feel stuck. We're not feeling love again. We're not getting into a relationship again. And so it's so incredibly important that regardless of what happened in your past, listen, I had a marriage that fell apart many, many years ago that I talk about in my book, and it was like so incredibly painful. You know, I went so deep into my shell. I went so deep. I mean, I had so much self-protection. And I realized after some time had passed that if I really want to heal, I have to make the decision that I am the author of my story. And that just because something didn't last with someone who at the time I really loved, it does not mean that my story is over. You know, one of the hardest lessons we will ever face and we will ever have to accept is to accept when someone's part in our story is over. And we don't like to let go. We like to hold on. But when we hold on to the past, we rob ourselves of so much of our life. We rob ourselves of beauty, of love, of new experiences. And I made a decision that I was not going to give someone who was no longer in my life that kind of control over how I lead my life. And that's ultimately what we all have to do. And yes, it is hard. And yes, you know, it's not about just letting anyone in. And yes, loving someone and letting someone close does come with a risk, but there is a greater risk in living your life so self-protective that you are actually repelling the very thing that you want and you don't even realize it. And it is far worse to go years into the future and then look back in your life and think, oh my God, I didn't live it the way that I really wanted to. I didn't let myself even have the experience of another relationship because of my past experience with this person. How much power did I give this person? You don't want to be in that position. You have to let go. And letting go is not an overnight process, but it is a decision. And the decision is, even though I am hurt, even though I am grieving, even though, this happened and that happened and it's not fair and I wish it didn't happen, I'm going to make the decision to be proactive in my healing every single day. So instead of repeating the story of the breakup and what happened and what should have happened and what you should have said and what you wish you hadn't said and what they should have done, instead of constantly repeating that story, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to, when it's time, when it's appropriate, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's 5 months, maybe this was a long-term relationship and you need a solid year. I'm going to get myself back out there again. I'm going to date again. I'm going to go slow. I'm going to bring the lessons that I learned from the past into my current reality. I'm going to spend time with friends. I'm going to pursue something that I've always wanted to pursue. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to book that trip. Whatever it is, you have to be proactive in your healing. And yes, time is an amazing healer. It really is. But you can expedite how quickly you get over someone when you decide to work with time and when you decide to be proactive in your healing so that, like I said, you are a collaborator with time. One chapter is closed. You still have many more chapters ahead of you. Make sure you are writing those chapters and not someone who's your ex